Hi, this is John News, and I am Amir John. Who were the World Central Kitchen workers killed in Gaza? 7 aid workers from the World Central Kitchen, WCK, have been killed in an Israeli airstrike in Gaza, the charity's founder says. The victims were British, Polish, Australian, and Palestinian, and also included a dual U.S.-Canadian citizen, WCK said. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has acknowledged that the Israeli military hit innocent people, describing it as tragic and unintentional. It happens in war, we check it to the end, we are in contact with the governments, and we will do everything so that this thing does not happen again, he said in a video message. Here's what we know about the aid workers killed. Lalzawmi Zomi Frankcom, 43 MS. Frankcom died doing the work she loves, her family said in a statement. The aid worker from Melbourne, Australia was the WCK's relief lead in Gaza. She was described as a kind, selfless, and outstanding human being who traveled the world helping others in their time of need. She will leave behind a legacy of compassion, bravery, and love for all those in her orbit, they added. Last month, WCK posted a video on X of Ms. Frankcom at their kitchen in Deir al-Balah, central Gaza, which was newly opened. Dora Weekly, a friend and former WCK colleague, told ABC News that Ms. Frankcom was dedicated and someone who made sure people in need had a hot meal to look forward to every day. Ms. Weekly met Ms. Frankcom in 2019 when they responded to Hurricane Dorian in the Bahamas and worked with her again during the summer bushfires in Australia. Damian Sobol, 35 Polish Foreign Minister Radoslaw Sikorski has confirmed Mr. Sobol was killed. Our brave compatriot, Mr. Damian Sobol from Przemysl, helped people in need in Gaza where there is a humanitarian crisis. He was killed during an attack which the Israeli army has accepted responsibility for, he said in a video message on X. In an earlier post, he said he had personally asked the Israeli ambassador for an urgent explanation for the strike. Polish President Andrzej Duda wrote on X that it was with deep pain that he had learned about the deaths of the WCK volunteers, including a Polish citizen. These brave people changed the world for the better with their service and dedication to others. This tragedy should never have happened and must be explained, he said. Mr. Sobol from Przemysl in southeastern Poland was originally identified by the city's mayor in a Facebook post. Wojciech Bakun called Mr. Sobol a fantastic boy and said words could not describe how those who knew him were feeling. Colleagues of Mr. Sobol have posted comments on social media describing how he had taken part in delivering aid to Ukrainian refugees following Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Saifeddin Issam Ayad Abu Taha, 25 mourners gathered in the Gazan city of Rafah on Tuesday for the funeral of the Palestinian driver who was killed in the strike. Hundreds of people mourned Saifeddin Issam Ayad Abu Taha, whose body was transported to Rafah, his hometown, where relatives, colleagues, and friends carried him on their shoulders. He was happy to work with an organization that provides humanitarian aid to the displaced. Our hearts are broken by your death, Saif, his close friend Hassan said amid tears, sadness, and anger. You have hurt us with your passing, and we will not forget you. We pray for your mercy, Saif, and may God give us patience and give patience to your family and loved ones, he told the John. John Chapman, 57. 3 British nationals were killed in the attack. They were all former soldiers who were working for UK-based security firm Solace Global as part of WCK's security team. Mr. Chapman was one of the 3. His family described him as an incredible father, husband, son, and brother who will forever be a hero. In a statement, they said they were devastated to have lost him, adding he died trying to help people. He will be missed dearly, they said. Chris Burns, who served with Mr. Chapman in the military, remembers him as a very, very bubbly man who got on with everybody. He was a very, very funny guy, Mr. Burns said on John World at 1. James Kirby, 47. Mr. Kirby was born in Bristol and had completed tours in Bosnia and Afghanistan with the British Armed Forces before working as a security consultant. His family said he would be remembered as a hero who will never know the void he has left. James was always willing to lend a helping hand to anyone, even in the face of senseless violence, they said in a statement. Speaking to the John, Mr. Kirby's cousin Adam McGuire said he was completely selfless and just wanted to help people, which is why he had gone to Gaza. Another cousin, Amy Roxborough Berry, described him as a true friend who loved his mates. He loved his family. James Jim Henderson, 33. Mr. Henderson was the third British man killed. He had been in Gaza for just over a week, alongside with Mr. Chapman and Mr. Kirby. They were due to return home in days, the John understands. The three's roles as security advisors were to ensure the aid convoy traveling in Gaza followed safety procedures and remained on the correct route. Matthew Harding, the non-executive director of the security company that employed them, said all three had extensive experience in risk management and were all highly trained, highly professional. He added that their deaths were a truly tragic loss to both us and indeed their loved ones. Prime Minister Rishi Sunak spoke to Mr. Netanyahu on Tuesday evening about the strike. Downing Street said the Prime Minister told Mr. Netanyahu he was appalled by the incident and demanded a thorough and transparent investigation into their deaths. Mr. Sunak said earlier he was shocked and saddened and sent his thoughts to the friends and families of the victims. He added that aid charities should be praised and commended for their work, which they should be allowed to do unhindered. Jacob Flickinger, 33. The dual U.S.-Canadian was born in Quebec and had served 11 years in the Canadian Armed Forces. He had been a volunteer in Gaza since early March. Mr. Flickinger's parents told the Yawn on Thursday that their son had loved his job. The work married his talents, his father, John Flickinger, said, his love for adventure and his desire to serve and help others. He was such a good human being, his mother, Sylvie Lebrecq, said. He was extremely devoted to his work and his family. Mr. Flickinger had recently settled in Costa Rica with his partner Sandy and their 18-month-old son named Jasper. Jasper will be a very good inspiration for us to stay strong, Mrs. Lebrecq said. Right now, we're still in shock. U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken called the aid workers heroes who were simply trying to help fellow human beings. He said Washington had spoken directly to the Israeli government and urged a swift, thorough, and impartial investigation to understand exactly what happened. Canadian Foreign Minister Melanie Joly echoed the call for a full investigation and said, "Strikes on humanitarian personnel are absolutely unacceptable." Large number of aid workers killed in Gaza. More than 196 aid workers have been killed in Gaza since October, according to the U.S.-funded Aid Worker Security Database, which records major incidents of violence against aid personnel. Most of those killed since the war broke out 6 months ago worked for the UN Agency for Palestinian Refugees, UNRWA, which runs the biggest aid operation in Gaza. About 1,200 people were killed, and 253 hostages taken when Hamas launched its unprecedented attack on southern Israel on the 7th of October. About 130 hostages remain in captivity, at least 34 of whom are presumed dead. Since then, more than 33,000 people have been killed in Gaza, including many women and children, the Hamas-run health ministry says.